Turn that shit off. You know, permission to fucking play loud ads in my bedroom. Anyway, as you were saying, woman, they can abolish the income tax and replace it with a national sales tax, and they would still have the money to pay for all the government bloatware.
They wouldn't even need to make a national sales tax if they got rid of income tax, because of how much other shit gets taxed. Like literally everything in your life.
And they need to they need to do that and deregulate gas prices. That's what they need to do. You know how they make all of them be like so close to each other all the time?
Yeah.
Everybody's always the same price. That's all fucking rules and regulations. And there has been stories of like mom and pop gas stations selling their shit for $1 a gallon less than everybody else, and they get sued. They fucking lose their business. Competition laws. Competition laws.
More like competition.
More like anti-competition laws. But if you get rid of that income tax, then fucking no, I don't think anybody would go out of business, but they would be fucking, they would actually have to, they wouldn't be golfing together anymore, I can tell you that.
No,
they'd be giving each other the crooked eye. Yeah. There would be a whole lot of canceled weddings because, you know, they're fucking Shell's son, for example, and I don't know this, it's just an example. Shell's CEO's son would be marrying like the daughter of BP or some shit, and they'd be like, no, they're the enemy. Can't do it. It's like, oh, well, I was only doing it to fucking as like some sort of, what do they call that? When you arrange a marriage between like two companies.
Partners?
No. It's usually so each company can have like a stake in the other one. I don't know, there's a word for that.
Open market?
No? I'm not going to be on here very long. There's going to be a period in time where most viewers to my World of Warcraft crap are going to have to settle with the VODs. Because I'm only going to be getting on for like an hour, if that, at a time. So what the fuck was I doing? Oh, I gotta go. You know what? I bet I know where he is without even looking it up. All the dwarves hang out in one spot. Or all the important dwarves hang out in one spot. It's over here. I'm getting my 48 before I get off for the night, I can tell you that right now. Because I have rested XP, probably a whole nother level of rested XP. And I'm about to turn in 2 quests.
What's on your mind? Safe travels. How are ya? Watch your back.
Oh, I can't mount here. Just trolling me. It'd be like somebody bringing their horse into Walmart and then trying to get on it while they're in the middle of like the fucking grocery aisle. Store employees would be telling them, "You cannot mount here. You cannot mount here." Going the wrong way. And then you'd be like, well, you know, they let those fat people mount those scooters, so why can't I mount my horse? Isn't scooters like their racial mount? You're not gonna acknowledge me?
What'd you say?
I'm making fat people jokes.
Oh, well, I'm a fat person, so.
Never mind. Oh shit, that's not where I wanted to go.
Sorry, baby.
But this actually isn't technically cheating because I'm gonna pay the fee for both flight paths, so. Oh, there's somebody that wanted to know how to make a GM account. I should probably answer his thing.
Be good.
Let me do that real quick. How the fuck do you do that? It's literally right in the thing. I never remember. Okay. Don't worry, I got this. It's all under control. What window is this? No, it's the realist mangoes. I make such a valiant effort to reply to everyone on my YouTube channel. You know, it's funny, like, if I started making, like, a lot of money doing YouTube, I would take that shit so seriously, I'd be at home, like, 8 hours a day, just replying to comments.
For what?
I'd be at home, like, 8 hours a day, just replying to comments.
Before that.
Just so if I had, like, if I was YouTube famous. I would want everyone to feel special. I'm just kidding. It'd be like 4 hours because I gotta play something. You know, like I gotta make content. Alright, you son of a bitch. Ding me. Ding me and give me your key.
Great to meet you. Keep your feet on the ground.
Oh, now I gotta go to Tarnassus. So I might as well just... No, I don't want a hearth here. Where's this gonna take me out at? Fuck. Because I want a hearth from Tarnassus. Or do I? Or do I just want a quest in Tarnassus? Take the shortest possible route. Oh, wait. I'm gonna have to come back for Paladin training. I don't think there's a Paladin trainer. Is there a Paladin trainer in Darnassus? Tanaris, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. Didn't I get that girdle? Or no, that's what I get for this quest. I should probably make my home something that isn't like Loch Mardon. That's what I should probably do. That would be like if you were playing Fallout 3 and you made your home that little bombed out town that's just north of Megaton outside of the vault. You just made that to where you teleport to instead of Megaton, you know? It'd be kind of fucking stupid. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, you're gonna net me? I don't care. Bet you won't take me off my mount. I didn't shake on it. Nope. Oh, I forgot this one. So what's my next talent point gonna be here? It's gonna be improved Holy Shield, right? Of course it is. I can get all my damage shit later, and honestly, Holy Shield is a damage spell. So. Dude, get a fucking life. You can't fucking mana burn me. He might have an execute, I forgot. I don't know what level they get that. Oh, he's trying to DDoS the server so he doesn't die. Nice try. I feel kind of shitty that I had to use that there, but I used all my mana on damage spells. I figured my Seal of Light would have been enough, but I guess not. Don't you dare take me off my mount. Don't make me come back there. Am I gonna leave combat yet? Thank you. What the fuck? No! Stop! Can I fight him? I guess I'm just gonna fight him. Oh, he kites! What? I'm not following you. You're crazy. You're out of your mind. I'm just gonna go hang out with my homies. You can't kill me anyway. I want to make sure of it. Fuck you. I have less crowd control right now than Woodstock security. Stop me if you know that reference. Yeah, see? Oh, you better not. You better keep walking. That's right. No, or my luck, I'd kill that rare or whatever and end up dinging anyway. I don't want to ding right now. I want to turn this in first. When you're playing Burning Crusade, you might as well walk instead of mount because it takes so long to mount.
Interesting pint. See you soon.
Just because she said that, I'm not coming back. Anyway. All tabbing, so don't freak out. Don't have a conniption. Don't suddenly think, oh, Sep, your stream is crashed. You're done. Just delete your account. No. No. Never. I already had one account get fucking deleted by YouTube. It's so weird, like... I had a YouTube channel, very same email, right? They delete that account, but for some reason, I have another channel on the same email, same name. Well, at the time, it was something different. It was Cuddles Gaming or something stupid. And it's perfectly fine. Same email. And if I go do it now, I have like 2 other emails, channels on the same account. That they're like multiplying. When you're so tall that even a fucking first class plane bed wouldn't hold you, and it would just be a waste of money. We put a Wish.com turbo on a Walmart motorcycle. I'm watching this.
What happens when you put a Wish.com turbo on a Walmart motorcycle?
Yeah, I just read that. What happens?
Today,
Yeah.
back into the tank. Solve our problem.
How?
We got this big blue tank right here.
Yeah. Nitrous has started.
Why are we putting nitrous in it? I never said anything about nitrous. It's cheating.
This is so dangerous. I went out and let's get cranked up.
I just want to see what happens. I don't want to know the over-exaggerated trouble you went through to put it on.
Holy crap. It sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty healthy. Jerry's on his first shakedown run. That's the first the bike has moved since we put the turbo on it, and it looked like he was moving pretty quick. "32 miles an hour." Hey, that's pretty significantly better, almost 20%.
All right, 32. Well, let's do it again.
Yeah, let's see 33. Come on. A blistering 34 miles an hour. You got some extra noises?
I saw some sparks.
And I hear some grinding. Was it from the clutch, maybe?
I don't know. You hear it? The clutch inside. Something must have busted off in there.
Yeah.
See, you never know if something actually broke just because it's a Walmart motorcycle, which is entirely possible, most likely, actually. Or if they edited it and they just broke something and had him ride like a little ways on it just so, you know, something would break and it'd be like, oh, it broke. Even more eye-popping footage for you to digest. You have to watch the whole video to see everything. It's all about that view time. Everything on the internet's fake. I keep forgetting to sell this. I'm going to Gadgetistan anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, fuck you too. The swim of shame. I knew the risks, and I took them. Good thing I have 159 strength, or I wouldn't be able to swim in all this armor. Oh yeah, this is gonna ding me. Let's see, that requires 45. What's this other one? That's the one thing I never looked at, is the item level. Doesn't say. Or there's an item level and then there's an item requirement level. But assuming this is male and it's only 12 strength compared to 16, it's probably less than the one I have right now. But I really like that 1% chance. So that's just how you build tanks, man. You just build a bunch of put a bunch of proc shit on them. That's all you do. I want to get to the point where all I have to do is Holy Shield. I don't even have to use Consecration anymore unless I'm tanking. Don't fall in the water. You're gonna fall in the water. Oh, oh, you too. You too. Wonder what kind of rollback that is. Don't I have restarter mode on? Restarter mode doesn't work like it used to. Whole world's against me trying to get my 48. I'm just gonna teleport there at this point. Am I not spelling that right? Oh. Spelling it like a fucking Indian. There we go. Again, I only did that because my server crashed and I gotta make up the time. I don't have enough room for what he's trying to give me here. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna go ahead and use it. I'm gonna keep the strength one, and I'm gonna sell the other ones, I think. Or maybe I should keep both of these. I'm gonna keep both of these. And the strength one. We'll see if the, we'll see how well they work out. It's getting to the point where, well, see, I don't know. Like, that could be tanking gear too. That's the problem. What do you want?
It
Oh.
more than you will ever know.
I'm gonna probably get rid of this mallet. I'll probably get rid of that. And that. Oh, we got a bot mount cycling again. And then he just walks away. It's almost like he knew I'd react.
Hurry back!
Man, that costs 500 mana? I don't know why I made that steel bar. I regret my decision. Probably need iron right now. More than anything. Oh no, I need steel. Trying to hit 200 any way I can. Alright, what's the easiest thing I can make right now? Probably not that. Steel bars and heavy grinding stone. Let me see how much I can get that for. Oh, you know what? I need to upgrade my shit first before I even think about that. Never mind. I probably don't even have enough gold to do it. We'll see.
What's on your mind? Watch your back.
Seems like it takes longer than it used to populate the bots, but I'm not gonna complain. Just before, when the bots would populate, the server was really laggy up until they reached maximum population. Gonna alt tab here for a moment.
Gaming isn't fun anymore. Uh-oh.
If you were to look at the video game industry of today, you might think gaming is in a golden age. Video games have never been more popular. Professional gaming is a growing and respected sport, and game publishers see profits
No.
year after year. This surface level success
Pro
however,
gamers don't
is
even
really the
respect
core
pro gamers
issue with
anymore.
modern games.
I'm gonna keep it real. Yeah, that is true, huh? We have Dark and Darker. This is like shit that I played in the last year. We have Elden Ring. I was gonna say Lost Ark, but I feel like that one would probably be part of this video. You have Hades, New World. What else? We have Valheim, Vampire Survivors. I feel like we've had a lot of really good games come out recently. Like, I'm not all doom and gloom about gaming, but I feel like
I don't
if
think
you
any of
don't
those are
step
that great, to be honest with
outside
you,
of the
but
mainstream,
my standards
you
are a little
probably think
high.
Gaming is the worst thing that's ever happened. That's what I think. New World, nah, New World is a good game. You buy the game, there's no pay to win, there's like optional fucking cosmetic microtransactions, there's no pay for convenience.
Shouldn't even
You
have
buy
that.
the game, it's continuously fucking developed. You can say you don't like the game, totally fine, but do not put it in the same category as Diablo Immortal.
For monetization, egregious laziness, and a total lack of passion or vision. In terms of quality and actual care put into games, modern gaming has been on a consistent decline for close to a decade now. From predatory microtransactions, to broken, unoriginal games, to the current drought of new and interesting IPs, gaming has been reduced from a form of entertainment.
It's boring, I think, that there's not a bunch of like, oh, that's the Lost Vikings, I had that one. It's boring how like people don't want to make as many new IPs. And like maybe it's always been like this, but I feel like every time something new comes out,
This isn't
it's
even
like
an
a big
upgrade.
title, it's always something that's already been out, but it's got a 2 next to it.
Entertainment and artistry to a corporatized money.
Unless the chance
maker.
goes up, I don't know.
As someone who's been into gaming for the vast majority of my life, as someone who genuinely appreciates the passion and artistry present in games, this mass corporatization and denigration of the
What is this, Salvador Dali, the game? The fuck is this? Like, like, this is some weird ass shit.
medium is depressing at best and infinitely vexing at worst. I know I'm not alone in this stance either.
Hilux.
The countless failures and disappointments of the modern games industry has left most gamers tired and frustrated.
Yeah.
To that end, I want to chart the slow descent of this once great industry,
Okay.
look at where it's heading, and what we should do in response.
We should shit on our own hand and then smear it all over yourself, and then tell Blizzard that you're not going to buy any more battle passes and delete your battle.net account. That's what you have to do. That's the only thing that'll stop them. Yeah, true. Somebody's got to say.
Not lying.
Before we can discuss the dismal state of modern gaming, I want to first look at the era which preceded it, along with what made it unique. I think few would argue that the mid-90s to late 2000s was a true golden age of gaming, and for a number of reasons. While the actual quality of
I feel like, you know what the last good game was? In like that era? Halo 3. I feel like after Halo 3, things were like... But like before then, everything was good. Time Splitters 2? Bro, that was like 2002. That was GameCube. Halo 3. And Halo 3 was like the last S-tier game that had none of this shit, not even anything close to it. And then after that, that's whenever the horse armor started coming in. That's whenever the DLC started coming in. Half-Life 2? Bitch, Half-Life 2 came out in 2004. Halo 2 came out in 2004.
Games from this time period can't be understated and will be discussed.
Gotta get
One
your
of the biggest
numbers
factors
right.
in this golden age was the state of gaming in the broader games industry. Gaming was considered a more nerdy or unusual hobby back then. You weren't getting bullied at school for not having the latest Fortnite skin, but for
I never got bullied at school for playing video games. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like that shit never, did it happen to you guys? Like that never fucking, like I'm 32, right? So like, I went to school in the 90s and the 2000s. This never fucking happened.
You got my attention.
playing video games in the first place. This relative unpopularity meant that the games industry was just a fraction of its current size. Conversely, game developers and publishers were much more numerous back then. Various small and independent groups all competed in the open gaming market, and you'd either sink or swim depending on the quality of your games.
Yeah.
While many studios sunk,
Deep
those
inside
that
the
swam were
Slack
handsomely
pit.
rewarded, and typically redoubled their efforts for their next project.
Yep.
Furthermore,
Huge.
these small
There it
studios
is.
Sure.
were often staffed and led by dedicated
I'm under that
gamers and
control.
enthusiasts. This naturally
Massive.
leads to much
That's
greater
lockout.
passion and care put into the games they produced.
Let's
Take,
say
for
let's see.
example, Bungie back in the early 2000s. Their singular goal when producing the Halo trilogy was to make the best, most enjoyable game possible, and it shows in their outlook.
Yeah, that'd be
The
alright.
difference between good enough and awesome is so big, and I mean, there's this standard set by everyone here that, I mean, good enough sucks. You can't do good enough. It's a hard kind of thing to live up to, but it's I mean, the game's going to be better for it.
We are the most cynical.
And you got to keep in mind, like back in the day, people couldn't go and like patch a game in. Like that, like back, like, and like this, I think this kind of changed like at like Xbox and like 360. But like, if your game shipped with a bug, your game was shit with a bug, and that's it.
Well, like, we are the jaded crowd who, if a game
Yeah,
doesn't
you can't
entertain
just
us in
patch
5 minutes, we stop playing it.
The passion you see here is honestly commendable, and was something found in abundance both at Bungie and the broader games industry.
The worst thing about this, I think, is that there's a lot of guys that probably still work at Bungie and other studios like that feel exactly the way that these guys do. But the problem is that there are these production machines that create deadlines that make it to where they're not able to produce a quality product. Like, I actually think that most people that develop video games are actually trying to make a game that's as good as Halo 3. I don't think anybody goes into video game development and sits through 80 hours of crunch time just to release a game that's trash. I don't believe that. Now, I think that sometimes they're misguided. Sometimes they make mistakes. It's like, oh, this mechanic sucks. But they're passionate about doing something that they think is good. And sometimes there's only, you know, like, the game's got to be out before Christmas, you know?
In addition to having an industry clearly committed to quality, the technological development seen in the 5th, 6th, and 7th generations dramatically expanded what can be done with video games.
That's true.
This is perhaps best demonstrated by the transition from 2D.
This was my game, man. I grew up playing this game. This was, oh my god. I would play this game with my mom back in the day. It took me like 4 years to beat this game. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I was so fucking into it. And yeah, I would play that shit all the time. I remember the game would reset.
Ran out of mana at the last second.
Run this game in like 1996 because I could go through the first 3 temples in like an hour.
I would spawn over
back
here.
to the fucking dark world. Man, I would give anything to go back to this era. I would give anything to go back to like 1997.
Fuck it.
Like, I remember I talked to my mom about this game at church. Straight up. Straight up. Be like, yo, we gonna play some Zelda after this shit? You gotta take me to Burger King.
To 3D, swapping pixels for polygons. An additional dimension not only enabled new and interesting forms of gameplay, but allowed for beautiful art styles and actually realistic graphics. These are your killer 7s for the former, and re-4s for the latter. The size and scope of games also increased substantially in this time period, going from megabytes in size to gigabytes.
Yeah.
Whereas games on cartridges had to make best use of very limited real estate, CDs allowed for about as much game as you wanted, and at then modern graphics. Finally, internet access had reached
Also, you gotta keep in mind, like, PlayStation 3, how much was that on release? It was like $600-700 because it had Blu-ray on it. It was like one of the only things that had Blu-ray. $600. Yeah, like, I remember whenever it came out, nobody wanted a PlayStation because it was too expensive. Like, I got a 360.
Of millions, even billions by this time period, meaning games no longer had to be primarily single-player or couch co-op titles.
Just hit him, assassinated
In short, the games industry not only had the technology to make new and engaging games, but the will and passion to do so. And I feel the results truly speak for themselves.
Yeah. I never played any Grand Theft Auto all the way through. Oh, I played the fuck out of this game, man. Sonic Adventure 2
as the
Battle?
name implies, a pretty good
I
time.
love this.
Quite simply put, gamers were spoiled for choice in the 90s and 2000s. While shovelware and cheap cash grabs certainly were a thing, you had an absolute smorgasbord of quality titles to choose from, no matter what you were looking for. If you wanted to play something
But I feel like nowadays, like, before we go into the doom and gloom, I feel like nowadays there are a lot of really good games out right now. Like, there are. I actually think so. Like, I genuinely believe that there are a good amount of games that are out that are actually fun to play.
Your own.
Name 5? Okay. What are the restrictions? Like, games without, like, I mean, like, okay, obviously one is gonna be Elden Ring, right?
What the fuck was the point of coming up here?
We have good games, yeah, because it's like, I mean, I would say I would put Valorant on the list, I would put Valheim on the list, I would put Vampire Survivors on the list, but like, are we talking AAA games? Like, would you put Doom 2016, 2018 on the list? Like, from everything I've seen, I would say yes. You put God of War on the list. There you go. What about like Demon Souls, the new remake of that? I feel like that one's really fucking good. Devil May Cry 5, that one's fucking insane. Yeah, there are a lot of really good games now. Like Breath of the Wild, yeah, there's that one. Like, damn. V Rising, yeah, V Rising, that's another one. That's like Vampire Valheim.
I can't believe I did this.
Just pop in Tony Hawk or literally anything from Nintendo at the time.
Can I even make that jump? I don't think I can.
I stopped. I never finished Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. And I never finished anything after Wind Waker because I thought the style of the game was stupid. I want to go back and play every single one.
Oh, this is cringy. Oh, you know what? I can stand on top of the elevator, probably.
And if you wanted to meet cool new people on the UI,
I'll try that.
WoW was still relevant.
Yeah, it was.
And not terrible.
Man, fuck you.
Gaming as a whole was
oh, yep,
just
I can.
People treated it as an enjoyable, exciting hobby.
It's gonna take me right.
The new Scrimbo Bimblo slaps, drop 40 or 50 bucks on it, and have a good time. Gamers had hope in the industry, and while expectations weren't always met and missteps were had, it was good for a time.
Damn, let me pause this. I just want to look at it.
Alright, I admit defeat.
Damn, it's got that's like one of the old, that's like the newer version of Super Nintendo. That's original Super, that's original Nintendo. That's a, oh my god. That's not the one, but like I remember you would plug like you'd have the Sonic and Knuckles and you would plug Sonic 3 into it in order to play the extra characters. On the Genesis? Oh, man. Wow. I love these pictures.
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire
Fuck that
experienced
dwarf.
unmatched prosperity and security for hundreds of years before its slow and pitiful death in the 5th century.
You know what? Like, Roman Empire is actually very similar to gaming because it weren't 90% of the people in the Roman Empire slaves. And if you use slaves as a metaphor, like 90% of people in gaming now are free to play. And so, like, you could think of the free-to-play players as the slaves, and you could think of the pay-to-win players as the Roman citizens. 90%? It was a lot, okay? There was a lot of fucking people were slaves then.
Gaming is no different, and much like the Huns and Goths who brought low the Romans, it was an outside force which plunged the games industry into its dark age, the smartphone. In 1998, Nokia released their 6110 model of mobile phones.
My dad had this
The 6110 offered numerous improvements and updates over the earlier Nokia 2110, one of which being the addition of Snake. Snake is a game you've likely heard of, seen, or played at some point. You play as a snake navigating a plane in search of food, and need to maneuver—
This is where it all began, guys. The reason why video games are terrible, you're looking at it right now. If they had never put this video game on the phone, we would be playing, every game would be as good as Elden Ring.
Around your ever-lengthening body as you go from point to point. It's a simple little game, something you could play for a few minutes at a time, but its inclusion in the 6110 was one of its most liked features. In line with this, mobile phones going forward would often include short little games similar in scope to Snake. Many of these games were shipped with the phone itself, and while it was possible to download additional games, they were never terribly common or popular. The system, however, would be completely turned on its head in 2007.
I'm assuming I have to kill
with
one
the
of
release
those.
the iPhone.
Isn't it crazy the fact that fucking, like, Steve Jobs and Apple just made this shit? Like, it's insane how much farther ahead the iPhone was than, like, anything else at the time. It was nuts.
The iPhone, and more specifically its App Store, offered users a variety of applications and games for purchase. Much like the iPhone itself, this storefront proved wildly successful. Though it released with only 500 apps, in just 2 years this number increased to well over 100,000, and these apps were downloaded over 2 billion times.
People love this.
Initially, the App Store would sell their games for a one-time, upfront cost. You know, how games were always sold. This business model would eventually be expanded in 2009 to give apps and their developers new and exciting ways of making money.
Exciting.
The biggest addition were in-app purchases, a system we would now call microtransactions.
Ooh.
While many apps made ungodly amounts of money off this system, perhaps the most influential—
Because, like, a lot of them would make a lot of money back then because people didn't even really know what it was. Like, yeah, they had no idea.
Iconic game in this landscape is Candy Crush.
Yep.
Candy Crush, released in late 2012, is nothing special as a game. You match 3 pieces of candy in a row to earn points and accomplish objectives. Match 3 titles had been around for some time and have had successful entries such as Bejeweled. What sets Candy Crush apart from its peers, however, was its method of monetization: predatory microtransactions. While Candy Crush was free to download, it was seemingly designed to incur, then profit off of addiction. First and foremost, the actual gameplay rewards you at every step, complementing and—
Well, I watched a lot of Train's gambling streams. I watched a lot. And that looks a lot like Dead, Dead, Dead. I mean, it does.
Let me make sure this is where to get this real quick, because I don't want to waste a bunch of time.
I had no idea. But damn. Like, look at this.
First and foremost, the actual gameplay rewards you at every step, complimenting and praising you for making the right move
That's a
or
duel,
just
yeah.
having pieces fall in the right places. You're given dopamine hit after dopamine hit with easy levels until you reach a difficult one you can't quite beat. Candy Crush operates on a life system, and once you run out of lives, you're cut off from the flashy lights and easy dopamine.
Wow.
You can either wait a ridiculous, uncomfortable amount of time until you can get your dopamine fix, or just pay 99 cents for an immediate refill. Both options funnel you into playing, and eventually paying more and more. And it was this Skinner
See,
box—
like, they had this in Bloons. I remember I played Bloons, and you could spend money to redo the last level. And I was like, bro, this is like playing a Super Nintendo game with save state. You're cheating. You're fucking cheating. Now, I would do it if it was on stream, because it would be boring to go through all the levels over and over and over again. Yeah, whatever. So, like, if a streamer does it,
Oh shit, wrong button.
but, like, am I gonna do this with my own fucking money on my own fucking time? Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. The game was fun.
Design that led to Candy Crush's success.
It's like, yeah, it's like an
To put it in perspective, Candy Crush alone brought in about $1.1 billion in 2014.
Jesus.
That same year, the entire games industry had revenues of $85 billion. A single game with a basic art style and simple gameplay loop made up over 1% of the games industry.
That's sad.
All because it had an unbelievably effective microtransaction system.
Over 9 million
This runaway
soccer
success
moms.
told the games industry two things. First of all, video games were big money, a business venture that could be insanely profitable. This is not.
Wait, hold up. Wait. So Clash of Clans makes $1 million a day, even back then. Like, God, bro, I need to start making one of these mobile games. This is we need to get into this. We need to break into the market.
This is not to say the games industry wasn't already massive.
This was like
it was raking in tens of billions at the
2015,
time,
somewhere around there.
but it put into perspective
Maybe
just how much
earlier.
money you can make off of games. Second, a game doesn't have to be good in the traditional sense to be profitable. Making a game that is legitimately fair and enjoyable doesn't have to be a prerequisite for success. It just has to have the right mechanisms to fleece people of their money and have them come back for more. It was around this time period of the early to mid-2010s that you began to see the exportation of this philosophy from the mobile market to gaming as a whole.
Yep.
It's this philosophy which treats games more as a dry business just to make money, rather than an earnest form of art and escapism, that led to this slow decline of gaming.
Yeah, that's what's happened with every fucking media. That's just how it goes. You get the people with a lot of money that get in charge, and then that's the way it is.
For anyone who's paid even a modicum of attention to the broader games industry over the past few years, you'd find it mired in scandals, mediocrity, and disappointment. The reason for this goes back to the philosophy
3,000
shift mentioned
people on
earlier.
Halo.
Games
Oh
aren't
my
being made to
God.
be enjoyed, but to make money.
Yeah.
It's this hard shift in priorities that has just gutted the soul of gaming and replaced it with flowcharts, focus groups, and
Well, it's also that people don't actually quit the games whenever the games are bad. Because if people actually stopped playing the games, people would stop doing this.
Okay.
These companies would stop doing it. But people keep buying the battle passes. They keep playing the gotchas. It's the consumer's fucking fault. Because they're the ones that are giving the company the money. The company's like, hey, we just want to make money. And the consumers are like, well, I want to get farmed for fucking money.
revenue projections.
Victim blaming?
Take, for example,
yeah,
the
I
explosive
absolutely
growth in
am.
microtransactions over the past decade or so.
Yep.
Modern games are often replete with issues such as slow
Well, I
progression,
might die here.
unbalanced gameplay, or a lack of content. This isn't a mistake. These issues are introduced on purpose, with the only way to overcome them being microtransactions.
Oh, exactly. Like, whenever you have pay-for-convenience features in a game, all you're doing is you're paying the developer to make the game inconvenient. Because if the game was convenient, then you would never pay for the convenience features. So they make it inconvenient on purpose to make you have to pay for them.
It doesn't matter if fair systems are dropped for a less engaging gameplay loop. It doesn't matter if microtransactions prioritize the size of your bank.
Nah, this is inaccurate. It costs $110,000 to fully gear up in Diablo Immortal.
I'm gonna see if I can exploit
It costs
this.
$110,000 to fully gear up in a Diablo Immortal season. That's just for one season. That's it.
Bank account rather than in-game skill. It doesn't matter if microtransactions have led to some of the most addictive, predatory systems imaginable. Microtransactions make an incomprehensible amount of money. That's the only
I don't know why people get all fucking up in their feelings about game companies do this, man. You have these people that are making like shoes using slave labor in third world countries. You're gonna talk to me about microtransactions and about how fucking, oh my god, I can't believe these companies are doing this. They're gonna do anything that they can to make money. That's why you have to have rules to make sure they don't fucking do that, because if you didn't, then they'd just still be doing it. You said that yesterday. I did, because people won't fucking listen. Makes me mad. Whataboutism, what a great argument. No, what I'm saying is, like, if you get mad at these companies for doing it, people have been mad at Nike and Adidas and Apple for this shit forever, right? About them using, like, third world labor and this kind of stuff. Yeah, so, like, are they still doing it? Oh, man. Ain't that something? Yeah, that's crazy. Because it doesn't matter if you get mad. Like, it's not like if you get... This isn't like...
Oh, I see where I need to go now.
3 times and he appears. You say microtransactions bad 3 times, they go away. Bro, if you get 100,000 likes on a tweet that says that Nike is bad, that tweet is no longer relevant in 3 days. And Nike still sells shoes. They're still gonna buy it. That's... And you might not like it, but that's what it is. Without third world labor, Nikes would cost $1,000. People would complain about the price. Good, bro. You don't need that shit. The Nike. What the fuck you need? Like some weird ass shit printed on your shoe. What do you need? Like air bubbles and like 3 different levels of padding for you to walk around your own fucking house and walk to Burger King. You don't need that. Just buy a normal pair of fucking shoes. You're not in the NBA. Settle down.
Reason
It's
they're
true.
so prevalent.
Oh, and by the way, half the shoes are $1,000 anyway now.
It's more important that their septuagenarian shareholders see a 15% APY than actually give their customer base a semi-decent product. Outside of making games with these predatory, money-first systems, modern games are often released in a broken and buggy state. The recent poster child of incomplete garbage is none other than Saints Row.
Oh, that one.
Aside from having some genuinely cringe-inducing writing and gameplay that's boring 2 hours in, the game just does not function.
That's a problem.
Pull up literally any full-length review, and you'll see a deluge of bugs, glitches, and broken features.
I'm gonna go ahead and not save here and get off for the night.
Saints Row isn't an outlier in this regard either. You had Battlefield 2042 last year, and Cyberpunk 2077 the year before that.
Well, I mean, New World was a shit show on release. And I realized that New World was actually a very...
Gaming isn't fun anymore because the moment we left DLC and went to Battle Pass systems is the moment AAA multiplayer gaming died. And the only people that still play that shit are people who still have access to their parents' bank accounts. Does that mean gaming overall isn't fun anymore? No, there's still a lot of good single player games that have come out. I haven't played it yet, but I know for a fact that New Prey was really good. Cyberpunk, honestly, when it came out, I didn't play the day one version of the game. I played it after like one patch. But other than my frame rate, which is still virtually the same today, I didn't have any problems with that game. It was obviously lazily made. 2D traffic in the distance. You can see with your like a sniper scope or binoculars or something. NPCs and cars and shit that don't fucking do anything. They don't matter. They're just there. There's a lot of other shit that's kind of wrong with that game, but in terms of like the main part of the game, like the storytelling, the gameplay, I do like the gameplay. All that was still great, in my opinion. There were some there were some quests that were bugged, but I never ran into them. And honestly, I think most of the flack that game gets is from the last gen console releases that they should have never fucking done. Because the kind of DLC that we should be getting, like Blood and Wine-esque DLC, we're not gonna get now. Because there's last gen consoles. And they won't be able to handle that kind of DLC. It would take so much work. Because first you have to make the DLC to begin with. And then you have to optimize it for last gen consoles. It's not an easy task. It's similar to how it was when people were porting 360 games to the PS3. It's not easy. But the good news is, there's enough unused map in Cyberpunk, that you don't really need to make a Blood and Wine DLC with like a whole new area or whatever. You could literally just make another campaign storyline. Maybe have more of like a Witcher-esque campaign where the new side quests that come with that main campaign actually influence the campaign. More so than the original one did. But other than that, Cyberpunk was honestly never a bad game, unless you were playing on a PS4. Like, honestly, if you're playing on a PS4 and you buy a game that can't even run at max graphics on the newest hardware at the time, like, what were you expecting? You're lucky you got 15 frames per second. Like, why would you do that? I mean, it's the same argument can be made why they even release it. True, but why were you dumb enough to buy it? But kids are fucking stupid. I would know. I used to be a kid. I remember I bought SSX on the PS2 when it first released. It was a release title. I bought it because it looked cool. Turns out SSX is a really good snowboarding game, and I got super lucky. But I literally bought it just because it looked cool. I was the kid that rented games just because the graphics on the box looked good. Can't even do that anymore. I wonder what it would be like if I still had that standard. Like, what if I just went by games that just had good graphics? Remember when that was a thing? Everybody always judged games based on graphics. They don't really as much anymore, but what if they still did? Like, what if you were still playing that game? I'd be buying all the new shit, right? I'd be buying all the AAA titles. I wouldn't touch indie games with a 10-foot pole. And my server just crashed, which is perfectly fine because I was done playing anyway. I'm pretty sure I can still save right now because the database is open. But seriously. Is it an excuse? No, it's not an excuse. And honestly, it's probably a poor thing to say, you know, to blame people to blame the victim, essentially. If anything, I think they should have charged $10 less for the last gen console versions of the game because they were getting much less of a game. They could have done that. But they didn't. So what's going to end up happening, the only way we're going to actually get some decent DLC for Cyberpunk is they're gonna have to release a definitive edition. And it's only on PC and the current gen consoles. That's the only way they're gonna work around that, because if they release DLC, especially free DLC, which is what we deserve, but if they release DLC on the current gen, or last gen, or right now on the current game, then they might be eligible for a lawsuit from last gen Cyberpunk owners, but I don't know. I don't know how many last gen Cyberpunk owners still exist right now. I'd imagine everybody traded their shit in and bought a PS5 at this point, but what do I know? Anyway, I need to get off here. That's my rant for the day. Toodles. Thanks for watching. Oh. I'm not ending the stream, I'm shutting down the repack. I felt cool there for a second because I was hitting buttons really loud on my mechanical keyboard.